We are headed toward a major karmic reset as we enter into the activation window for what is definitely the main event of this August eclipse season, a total solar eclipse in the sign of Leo. The first one that is fully entered into the sign of Leo. This is a big deal because this is a reset energy. This is where new beginnings are taking hold, and this is where we're going to get a preview of the karmic activation, of the fated transitions, of the destiny that we're being thrust into for the next 18 months of our lives. This is the entry point. And while the eclipse on August 12th isn't telling us the entire story, it really is launching us into this new chapter headfirst. In this video, I'm going to cover everything you need to know to navigate the total solar eclipse, including a forecast for all 12 signs. But before we dive in, if you're new to this channel, hello, welcome. My name is Heather Eland. I'm a professional astrologer and educator. I'm the founder of the Cosmic Academy of Astrology, my full astrology program, as well as the Cosmic Wellness Academy, where I teach medical astrology. And if you are interested in learning astrology or just learning about what's coming up for you right now and in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss an important astrology update. I post a new video or tutorial almost every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, and I don't want you to miss out on anything because right now we are entering into this pivotal karmic moment with the eclipses. And so this total solar eclipse is landing at 20 degrees in the sign of Leo. And so this is kind of reflective of what we saw during the Great American Eclipse, quote unquote, that happened in 2017, except a little bit in reverse. And so if back in that time period, 2017, 2018, you had a lot of change, a lot of transition, a lot of big monumental, just life-changing experiences, this eclipse is probably going to mirror that, but in a new way, in a different way. This is going to take us from where we maybe overdid something or went too far back into a state of balance. The reason for this is back during that time frame, we had the North Node transiting the sign of Leo. This time around, this month in August 2026, we have the South Node transiting the sign of Leo. This is about letting things go. This is about clearing up old karma. This is about releasing past cycles, past energies that no longer serve us. And this is about taking energy from the past that we maybe need to bring back into our lives and channeling it into something bigger and better and beyond just ourselves and our selfish needs. This is going to be a humbling solar eclipse for a lot of people. This could be a fall from grace for certain prominent figures if they're not working with the energy properly or if they've taken things too far in the wrong direction. If you're looking for recognition for recognition's sake, if you're looking for applause for being special when you're not really doing much to contribute to society, this is going to be a problematic energy for you. Although I feel like it's safe to say that for our viewers, most of you will not fall under that spectrum, but in one way or another, all of us are looking to be recognized for something. All of us want attention for our unique talents and gifts. And this is going to show us where we're seeking attention for maybe all the wrong reasons, where we're seeking attention just to get attention, just to feel special, when we're looking to stroke our own egos instead of actually sharing our talents, our gifts, what we came here to do in a very generous and heartfelt way. This is about disconnecting from anything that's not truly authentic to ourselves, any flashiness, any drama, any excess that we really don't need to be holding on to, and that is holding us back from actually making that contribution. And so I love this eclipse for a lot of different things. This is about connecting your work, the thing that you're being seen and known for, to something that is much deeper, that has more of a spiritual association. Something that is not just about you, it's about connecting your talents and gifts through that North and South Node energy to something that benefits the collective, that Aquarian energy, that humanitarian energy. So it's not just all about you, it's not just all about me, it's about what's good for everyone else. And so this is going to be a big shift in, I think, our mindset and what we're seeing collectively out there in the media, out there in the collective sphere. I think there's going to be a lot of energy around influencers who are falling from grace. I think we've started to see some of that already in different circles. And it'll be interesting to see where we all land when the dust settles after this 18-month energy and experience that this eclipse is kicking off. Now, with a South Node eclipse, on a personal level, you can expect to experience signs signs, synchronicities, messages. You can expect to experience very strange coincidences that you know are not coincidences. Things that feel familiar, things that feel like you are meant to connect with them or that you've already connected with them. People that you feel very comfortable around, even though you've not known them yet in this actual existence and in this incarnation. This is a South Node energy, so this is all about connections to things that have been carried forward from the past into this moment. And you can view that as being carried forward from past lifetimes and past connections that your soul has with other beings, other situations. You could look at that as being connected to things from your past in this lifetime, if that's more applicable to you and more applicable to your belief system. But really it's both, and you'll sense that as you're coming into these different situations that are showing up in your life fully formed, and you're like, how is this happening? And why is this happening? And the other thing with these South Node eclipses is that it often feels like we don't have agency over our own choices, over our own will. It's kind of like things are happening and the universe is sort of taking hold and guiding us in a certain direction, or pulling us, or sometimes even forcing us in a certain direction. And we don't know exactly why. We're not actively choosing what's going on, but we know we're along for the ride because we have to be. And so this is not a time where we can use logic and reason to figure out what our plans are and to make these active choices. It's more a time where we have to allow fate to take the reins. We have to give it up to God. We have to give it up to something bigger than us. We have to trust our instincts and our intuition. We have to pay attention to the signs, synchronicities, because the South Node is the dragon's tail without the head. It has no knowledge. It has no logic. It has no ability to reason and to choose. It just goes on pure instinct and pure intuition. And that's what we're being led by during this particular eclipse. Now, I went really in depth into the North and South nodes in the signs of Leo and Aquarius in my forecast for the North and South nodes transiting Leo and Aquarius. Make sure you watch that next if you haven't already done so. There is an all signs forecast there, but the first half of the video is so important for everyone to understand what the heck is going on this eclipse season and for the next 3 eclipse seasons. So make sure you don't skip that part, because I know a lot of people do, and that is the most important part of that video. And you're going to get a much deeper dive and a much more nuanced understanding of what's going on with this particular eclipse if you go back and watch that video. Now, going back to the solar eclipse in Leo, solar eclipses are always new moons, so this is about something new taking hold. This is about endings and new beginnings. This is a cosmic reset, and this is more of a cosmic reset than it normally is because it's an eclipse, and because this is the first eclipse that we're having with the true node transiting the sign of Aquarius, and the South node, based on that true node calculation, transiting the sign of Leo. Now, the mean nodes will be changing signs just a few days after this total eclipse, and so this is really just a big Leo energy and a big ingress into what we're going to be experiencing. So expect the themes that come up this time around to be revisited time and time again over the next 18 months, not just during the eclipse season, but during any time that we have an activation at 20 degrees in the sign of Leo, or anytime we have an activation of that South node energy. So that's going to be a theme that's going to be playing out for many months. And this is just that beginning. This is the first chapter in an ongoing story. It might be for a lot of people a really interesting chapter, a really active chapter, depending on how this is hitting you, but it's only one chapter and the full story is not yet to be seen. And so keep that in mind as we're going through the eclipse energy and as you're experiencing what you're experiencing. And also let me know down below in the comment section how this is playing out for you as the events unfold in your life, because I love hearing about the astrology in action. It's the best way to learn about astrology is through direct real life experience. The final point I want to make about this particular eclipse is that it's mostly unaspected except for a kind of wide, loose trine with Saturn, which is in the sign of Aries right now. And so Saturn in Aries, it doesn't have a lot of energy behind it to carry forward the harmonious, helpful energy of the trine, because really a trine sign is only as good as the planets that are involved in it. And Saturn in this position is very weak because it's in its fall. And so Saturn might provide you with some stability, some support, some sort of framework, something that is foundational that you need to build off of or move from as you're going through the eclipse events and the changes that are manifesting in your life. But I wouldn't say that this is the strongest influence or something that you really need to focus a lot of attention on. Really, this is all about the sun, moon, and south node and what's going on in your chart in the sign of Leo, which is where we get into the forecast for all 12 signs. But before we do, make sure you do two things for me. First and foremost, make sure you download your free Astrology 101 quick reference guide at the link down in the description below. This is going to walk you through your birth chart, all of your natal placements, and help you to better understand how this eclipse is hitting you more personally in a way more detailed and nuanced way than we could possibly ever cover in one astrology video. And so that is, again, 100% free. Download it down at the link in the description below. Number two, I would love for you to listen to your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign so you get a more holistic and detailed view of the energy that's coming up for you, not just for the eclipse itself on August 12th, but it's already manifesting right now in our lives because we are already in the eclipse window, and this is going to be carrying forward throughout the entire month. And really, we're going to see a lot of the repercussions of what happens right now 6 months out. So this is something that's impacting us for quite some time. So you want to make sure you're getting all of the information. And so your rising sign will be the most predominant energy, your sun sign will be secondary, and your moon sign will be important to listen to as well, although this energy is more internalized and subjective. And number three, I'm going to add one more thing that I'm going to ask you to do. Make sure you share this video with a friend who you feel like could benefit from the information I'm sharing with you today, because this is a big deal. And so for Aries and for Aries rising, this new moon total solar eclipse in the sign of Leo is happening in your 5th house, which is the house of joy, which is the house of doing things that you love to do because you love to do them. It's the house of passion, pleasure, and play. And so this is inviting you to do those things, to connect with your passions. There's a fated energy here where you have to take something that you're passionate about and put it out into the world. This is about your creative self-expression, but creating from a place of doing it for not just recognition, but for something bigger, for a bigger purpose. This could also be some sort of new fated karmic event that comes up involving children or your children if you have any. If you don't have any, this could be, for some people, a pregnancy that comes up. I've seen that happen unexpectedly during eclipses where it kind of takes you for a ride and changes your life in some way. If that's not applicable to you, but you do have children, it could be that something's changing in the lives of your children because the 5th house is literally where they sit in your chart. And so this could be describing a big life-changing moment that you are having to support them through. But you have the ability to do so very easily because this eclipse is in a trine with your ascendant sun or moon in Aries. This is all about letting fate take the reins. So there is something here that you feel so deeply passionate about, and it feels very familiar to you. It feels like you are meant to do it. It feels kind of like a hug. And even though it's something maybe you haven't engaged with in this lifetime or you haven't engaged with in quite some time, you'll find that you have a talent for it and that you need to carry it forward in some way. For some people, this could be taking your passions and putting them out there in some sort of business or creative venue. This could be about doing something performative because it is in the sign of Leo. Whatever comes up for you when it comes to just feeling really passionate and very lit up about something, that's the thread to follow for this eclipse season for you. For Taurus and for Taurus rising, this new moon total solar eclipse in the sign of Leo is happening in your 4th house, which is the house of home, family, property, and real estate. There could be a big move on the horizon for some of you, especially if you're a Taurus rising, and especially if your IC is also in Taurus. So download that Astrology 101 guide, the free one, down in the link in the description below to see what you have going on down there. And also if your moon's in Taurus especially, that could be a big one too, because you'll have this eclipse squaring your moon. The moon represents your place of living, your home. I would say that there's definitely going to be changes involving your home, your family, your property, your connection with your parents. There could also be a big event that comes up involving your family or involving your parents that causes you to have to change something. There is definitely a need here to let go of old ancestral or family karma so you can move on to focusing on what it is that you're putting out there into the world at large. There could also be a need to move back to a place where you once felt safe and comfortable, or if it's a new place that you're moving to, it could be that it feels very comfortable, very familiar, and it's about letting go of where you are right now so you can move into a space that gives you the platform that you need in order to grow in your career or in your notoriety or in your influence on the world and the mark that you make. Now, this could be, for some people, just a big change involving your living situation. It doesn't necessarily have to be a move. It could be a renovation. It could be new family members coming into the mix or new roommates coming into the mix, depending on your situation. But there's definitely going to be a change involving your home. There could be a big event that comes up involving your family that will be ongoing throughout the next 18 months that's set off by this eclipse. And so pay attention to what comes up right now, because it's not a one and done story. For Gemini and for Gemini rising, there is a very karmic message coming through for you around the time of this eclipse, Gemini, especially if you're a Gemini rising. This is a time where, yes, pay attention to the signs, synchronicities, omens, because the third house is all about signs, synchronicities, and omens. It's the way that you communicate with something greater than yourself on a day-to-day, ritual, habitual basis. And so you're going to be getting all the messages. You're going to be getting all the downloads. You're going to be getting all of the chance encounters. You're going to be getting a lot of very literal messages coming through from people in your life or from people in your community that point you in a different direction. There could also be new information coming in that you need to understand or take hold of. And so just pay close attention to anything that comes up in that arena over this next couple of weeks and these next few months, really. This could also be where new information comes in that feels very familiar and feels very right, and you have to integrate it or share it or teach it in some way. Or this could be an old opportunity to like write a blog or teach or share information that comes back around for you. There could also be faded energy around travel, especially short distance travel, but even a longer trip where it comes up and it feels like, oh my gosh, I have to do this, or it shows up for you in a very synchronistic way. It could even be something as simple as a new vehicle that shows up and it feels faded. So it just depends on where you're at right now, but I think this is going to be mostly positive for Gemini and Gemini rising. For Cancer and for Cancer rising, expect big financial changes coming your way. This could be a good thing though, because Jupiter is also, of course, transiting the sign of Leo, which means that you have the planet of abundance transiting your second house, the planet of expansion. However, with the South Node there, it's about looking to old sources of income or ways of utilizing resources or possessions that you already have in kind of like a new way. So it's about looking to what you already have and creating abundance from that, or looking to what you already have and feeling grateful for that, because maybe you already have a lot and maybe there's a way that you can utilize this money, these resources, to give back. And especially if new money does come in for you, this is one of those times where giving back is super important. Generosity is super important. The more generous you are when you do have enough, or when you have more than enough, the better, because that's going to create more abundance and more wealth for you with this type of energy in your chart. There could definitely be a major change or transition in the way that you're earning resources, or there could be a big purchase coming up that you've been saving up for that could finally manifest. It could also be that you're selling something that you own and you're getting some resources from that as well. But definitely big faded changes to the way that you deal with your money and your resources, and whatever comes up for you right now, it's meant to happen and it's meant to guide you in a brand new direction in the way that you deal with your possessions. For Leo and Leo rising, lucky Leo, this is all about you. So this is where your entire life is about to be turned upside down, but I do think it's going to be for a reason. It's going to be in order to align you more truly and fully with your authenticity and with your destiny. This is all about becoming more authentic and more true to yourself. This is about letting go of who you were in the past and moving into embodying your soul's mission, what you came here to actually do and accomplish. This is a time where you could have big faded transitions involving relationships that come up. This is a time where you can have big faded transitions that come up involving your living situation, your career path, but really this is all about you. You are changing in a big fundamental way. New opportunities are going to be coming into your life with Jupiter transiting your sign, but in order to actually take advantage of these opportunities, there are certain things that you need to let go of. It's kind of like shedding your ego when it comes to the way other people perceive you, when it comes to needing to be noticed for certain attributes, certain things, certain talents, certain qualities that you you have. This is about letting go of anything that you are getting recognition for just for the sake of getting attention. This is more about looking at getting attention for the things that are authentically true to you, for your talents and gifts, and the way that you actually deliver those with generosity through your heart to help and be of service to other people, to better humanity, to do it for something bigger than just you and your own recognition. And so this is about getting very clear on what that looks like for you moving forward over these next 18 months. For Virgo and for Virgo rising, this is going to be a very deep and internalized new moon solar eclipse energy in the sign of Leo. The 12th house is already the house of endings, clearing up karma, unraveling, self-undoing, letting things go. This is a time where you're going to be ushered into an 18-month period of really clearing house, really getting rid of any old cycles, any old patterns, any old karma, any old energy that is no longer serving you in this moment. This is about rest right now. This is about going inward. This is about a deep soul searching moment. This is where the messages that are going to come through will come through in altered states of consciousness, like in dreams or in meditation. This is a time where you're going to be getting those signs, synchronicities, those messages, but you're not always going to be conscious of what they mean and where they're leading you. There's a sense that you have to let go of something really major in your life, that you're completing a cycle here, and that is absolutely true. This is also a time where you might have a faded new connection, or a faded old connection, I should say, or reconnection to your spirituality and to your deeper conscious awareness. This is a time where it's really important to do dream work. People sometimes are like, oh, dream journals, ha ha ha, that's all I get. But this is where the big work is happening. It's not happening in your conscious reality and in your conscious mind right now. It's happening in those deeper layers. It's happening in the subconscious and unconscious realms. This is also a time where there could be a faded energy that comes in around having to pull yourself out of the world in some way, spending more time in solitude and seclusion. There could be a big event that comes up around hospitals, around rehabilitation centers, around going on some big retreat where you're pulling yourself out of the normal day-to-day grind. For Libra and for Libra rising, don't be surprised if old friends come back into your life around the time of this new moon total solar eclipse in the sign of Leo. This is about past karma coming back around when it comes to your connections, when it comes to your friendships, when it comes to your allies and your social support. This is about the people that support you the most. This is about your tribe. And this is about finding connections with people who feel very comfortable, who feel really familiar. This is about reconnecting with people who you already have a past life connection with. This is about reconnecting with people who you already have a contract with in this lifetime, where something has already been set in motion, where these people, this group of people, these friends in your life are meant to be a part of something bigger, better, something that you are meant to move into, that your soul is destined to accomplish or achieve, and they are going to be there to support you. Expect to have some very strange synchronistic encounters with all sorts of different people around the time of this eclipse. If a faded message comes through a friend or comes through a social connection, pay attention to that, because that's going to be one of the more important clues to what's taking hold and where you're going to be headed over these next 18 months. For Scorpio and Scorpio rising, there are going to be some big developments going on in the realm of career and public reputation. Even if you're not somebody who's working, this is about your legacy that you leave behind after your working years. This is about the mark that you make on the world at large, the impact you make on society as a whole or on a bigger group of people. This is about what you become known for. And so this is an energy here where something is shifting. It's kind of like you're moving full force in one direction, and all of a sudden it's being turned upside down and you're having to rethink something. There's a big reset coming when it comes to your career path, when it comes to your work. And so for some of you, you might be leaving certain jobs, certain career paths, certain businesses that no longer feel like they're serving you. For others, you might just be changing the way that you go about your work in a very dramatic way. You might be thinking about doing something bigger, but not for recognition's sake, but for the impact that you're going to make on humanity and the world at large. This is about sharing your unique talents and gifts with the world through your work in a way that's very authentic. That's not just about, hey, look at me, look how talented I am, look how good I am, I deserve all of this recognition. It's more about, hey, I have something that I need to share. I want you to see it because I feel like it can benefit all of you, and because this is something that is so deeply connected to my heart and to my passion and to my inner creativity that it just needs to be put out there. It's not about getting recognition to stroke your ego. It's about putting something out there that is going to make an impact, or putting something out there that's very true to your core desires and your passions and who you actually are authentically, that you can deliver in a way that isn't serving you, but it's serving something bigger. There could also be fated karmic connections with bosses, superiors, people in positions of power and authority. If that comes up for you, if you like meet with somebody who you've idolized, if you meet with somebody who has some sort of power, if you meet with somebody who has some sort of authority and it shows up in a very synchronistic way, this is supposed to happen. This is somebody who is contracted, who's supposed to help you to carry forward something, to put something out there, to dream bigger in some way. And so pay attention to that as well for Scorpio and Scorpio rising people. For Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, this new moon total solar eclipse in the sign of Leo is happening in your 9th house, which is the house of your beliefs about God, the universe, the world around you. It's about your religious and philosophical ideologies and the way that they frame your world, the way that they frame the way that you move through life, the way that they frame your ethics, the way that they frame your value systems and your integrity. And this is really all about realigning yourself with your integrity in a big way. This is also about maybe an old form of religious or philosophical study that you're going to be revisiting or bringing back into the mix. This is definitely a time where a teacher or somebody who you will look up to as a guide could show up in your life in a really big way. It's going to be someone who is either already connected to you through your past, or is already connected to you through a past life experience or something that occurred prior to this incarnation, where you are meant to meet up with this teacher. You are meant to connect with this form of wisdom, this teaching. This is a time where you're going to be learning a lot. This is about shedding your ego when it comes to sharing the information that you want to share with the world as well. You could be coming into your own as a teacher, but you're realizing that you can't be sharing information just to get recognition, just so people can be like, oh wow, look how wonderful I am. Look at all the things that I know. Look at all the knowledge, all the wisdom that I have. It's not about getting recognition for the sake of recognition to stroke your ego. It's about sharing something very authentic that's very true to you in a way that's going to benefit and help other people, and being recognized for that. And so anything that you're doing right now, anything that you're teaching, anything that you're sharing and moving forward with that is not aligned in that way, that you're doing for the wrong reasons, it's going to become very clear and very apparent. Finally, for Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, there could be a fated opportunity for travel that comes up in a very unexpected and synchronistic way. If that's the case, definitely take hold of it, especially if it's a place that has special meaning to you from your past, or it has ancestral meaning to you, where maybe it's a place where, you know, your lineage, your heritage comes from. That could be something that could be really wonderful. This could be a time for like a big spiritual pilgrimage for a lot of Sagittarius rising people in particular. And it might not come about where it happens all at once right now, but something could spark your interest. An opportunity could come up, and then in subsequent eclipse cycles and activations, you might actually be able to go on that journey. For Capricorn and Capricorn rising, this total solar eclipse new moon in the sign of Leo is happening in your 8th house, which is an interesting place because it spans a lot of different topics and themes. It's a little all over the place because it's connected to really challenging topics like death. It does not mean that someone's going to die during this eclipse, but it could be that there's a theme around, you know, thinking about death or thinking about your own mortality. There could be something that comes up with like a will or inheritance, or having to create a will or think about what's going to happen after you're no longer here, your assets, things of that nature. There's an energy here where you could be connecting to fears and anxieties and traumas that are not connected to what's going on right now in the present moment. These are things that are stemming from past experiences that may not be relevant in the current moment or relevant in the future even, where you need to clear out some old baggage, some old karma. This is about working through your trauma. This is one of the best times to engage in, you know, therapy or some other form of deeper inner healing, psychological and emotional healing around the time of this eclipse, especially if it's bringing up a lot of stuff for you. This is also a time where big changes could come up involving your finances, where an old source of outside money or income could be falling away, or there could be a change to your partner's resources and you have to rely more on your own savings, income, that type of thing. There's definitely a new direction that you're going to be taking in the way that you deal with money and finances as a whole, and this is going to be showing you exactly what that looks like. There could be investments that you need to make, not necessarily for your own benefit, but for the benefit of other people or the benefit of your grandchildren, your children, that type of thing, and that could be a big part of this energy as well. For Aquarius and Aquarius rising, this new moon total solar eclipse in the sign of Leo is happening in your 7th house, which is the house of relationships, which means big changes are on the horizon when it comes to your closest connections. This could be the ending of a really big, important relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be like the ending of a marriage or a love relationship, although it could be. This could be a need to clear out old contracts, old agreements in business or in friendship or in any sort of one-to-one connection. The need to move on from something, a pattern maybe, that no longer serves you when it comes to the way that you deal with relationships as a whole. There's definitely going to be some changes going on within your partnership and with your partner if you are somebody who's married or in a long-term committed relationship, because this is in their house. And so when you have an eclipse in the 7th house, it doesn't just impact you and the way that you engage with relationship, although it will. You're going to be moving on and letting go of old karma, old baggage that is holding you back from really experiencing your relationships in a very meaningful, heartfelt, authentic way. But this is also changes that your partner will be going through. And so this could be a major lighting up of this energy where all of a sudden something in your partner's life changes and you are there to support them. You are there to guide them. You are there to help them. You are going to be with them in that moment. And so it's going to impact you in a major way as well. And so look for major beginnings and major endings that are coming through your connections with other people, and major beginnings and endings that are involving and very literally affecting your relationships with other people around the time of this eclipse. It might not all manifest at once, but you'll get hints of something potentially that could come about or become a bigger thing as we move deeper into the north and south nodes transiting Aquarius and Leo. And finally, for Pisces and for Pisces rising, this new moon total solar eclipse in the sign of Leo is happening in your 6th house, which is the house of health and healing. It's also the house of illness. This is a time to pay attention to your health because something could come up that you need to pay attention to, that you need to work on, that you need to deal with in some way. This is a clearing out of old karma when it comes to your health and healing. And so even though the South Node can have a weakening effect where you really do need to pay closer attention to what you're putting in your body, you need to pay closer attention to your levels of stress so that way it's not impacting your immune system. This is also an unraveling and letting go of anything that's holding you back from being your healthiest and most vibrant self. And so looking at what's coming up right now, if you are experiencing difficulty with your health, as a means of sussing out what you need to remove from your life, the patterns, either psychological, emotional, or physical, the behaviors, the routines that are holding you back from feeling your best, this is the time where that's going to be coming up for you. There could also be fated karmic circumstances that throw you into a caregiver role, especially if it's somebody from your past. It could also be that this is something that it just feels like, oh, I was supposed to do this. Like all of a sudden your work or your day-to-day routines, your day-to-day life is thrown off kilter because you're suddenly playing nurse or you're having to take care of somebody, and it feels like this was meant to be, and this is fulfilling some sort of karmic contract from a previous iteration of your life or a previous lifetime in general. There could also be fated connections, new connections that come in with pets that are actually like a reincarnation. I know this sounds odd, but like it could be that you have a pet from early childhood or a pet from a past life that's reincarnated and comes back around, and then they come into your life in a new way, like a new animal, a new connection with an animal. Because I love animals, I love to focus on that in the 6th house because it's the one thing in the 6th house that's typically happier because the 6th house is hard. It's about the day-to-day struggle, the day-to-day grind, the day-to-day work you have to do. And it's also about the way that you have to show up in service for other people through usually obligation. And also it's about difficulties potentially with your health. And in this case, I think this is about releasing things that are holding you back. Because Jupiter's in the mix, I don't think this is like a big devastating thing for anyone when it comes to your health, your work, your daily routines. This is more about clearing away the baggage and what's no longer serving you so you can grow and expand and have the benefits and opportunities come to you in these areas of life, because Jupiter is also in the mix. All right, so that is my forecast for all 12 signs. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it, subscribe to my channel, comment below and let me know, and share this with a friend who you feel like could benefit from the information I'm sharing with you today. Also, if you're listening to this on the Cosmic Wellness Podcast, make sure you give us a 5-star rating and review. It helps us more than you can know, and you can comment there as well. Let us know how your eclipse season is going. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, you're going to love these ones because they go deeper into the north and south nodes and the eclipses, and I will see you in the next video. Bye everyone.